When Optus executives learnt they had a disaster on their hands,
a technical failure impacted triple-0 calls.
their first port of call was not with Australian customers or state and federal governments. Instead, the company made a beeline for its Singaporean owners, Singtel.
They were more interested in telling the Singapore Stock Exchange and the company in Singapore what was going on, getting their ducks in order, than telling the Australian people or the Australian government what was really going on.
Scrutiny of what happened when, where and what the company did next has featured heavily in Parliament this week, with bureaucrats facing estimates grillings and Communications Minister Annika Wells seeing off a barrage of opposition and crossbench questions.
I am disappointed that the Leader of the Opposition seeks to let Optus off the hook and try to say that other people should apologise for the failures of a private company in Optus.
There are now a series of inquiries underway into what went wrong, but 7:30 has learnt that a major source of tension between the company and the Australian government emerged last week, when Annika Wells sat down for the first time with Optus bosses and the head of Singtel. According to government sources, Optus and Singtel officials left a strong impression that they were more worried about the reaction of the Singaporean Prime Minister than the Australian government. There have been two major Optus failures in the last 3 weeks. The first was late on Thursday, September 18th, and it took the best part of a day before the company informed the public and state and federal governments that hundreds of triple-0 calls went unanswered.
Are you aware now, when Optus first became aware that people had died?
Not at this stage, Senator.
The CEO has not told you that he knew at 9 a.m. on Friday?
No, he did not, Senator.
What on earth was the CEO and Optus doing between knowing that people had died and informing the relevant Australian ministers and authorities? I just think this is disgusting, frankly.
Then, late last month, Optus suffered another outage, this time affecting Dapto on the New South Wales south coast. On both occasions, Optus looked first to its obligations in Singapore, according to Australian government sources.
He told me he had to tell the board, he had to tell other people. This is a Singapore company. It's on the Singapore Stock Exchange.
Optus said in a statement it would not preempt the findings of independent reviews that are underway. What's clear, though, is the Optus network debacle could not have come at a worse time for its Singaporean owners, which include the investment arm of the city-state's government.
Prime Minister Wong, is it disappointing that Singapore has been dragged into this triple-0 outage as a result of what Optus has done?
From a government's perspective, we expect our companies to act responsibly, and we will certainly expect Singtel and Optus to comply fully with the laws, to do whatever they can to cooperate with the investigation.
Optus and Singtel are far from out of danger. The Senate is moving to conduct its own inquiry into the latest outages. Privately, the Australian government is critical of the board's oversight of crises, including a 2023 national network outage. And there are calls for CEO Stephen Roux to step down.
He promised to face the Australian public every single day until this was sorted. And yet I don't believe he has done that. So if he can't front the Australian public and create confidence as we're approaching disaster season, then I think ultimately he probably has to consider his position.
This is a problem with this company and a problem with the regulator, who knows this company hasn't been putting people's safety and the importance of their customers first.